If your world is falling apart, listen closely. That collapse is not the conclusion. It is the test, the crucible through which all greatness must pass. No man ever attained power, wealth, peace, or purpose without first being proven by chaos. If everything around you shatters, it is because something inside you is being called forth. Remain calm, for God always tests a man before entrusting him with the reward. If you have reached the moment when your world seems to be breaking, when your plans lie in ruins, when your strength is spent, when your name is forgotten, when even those closest to you have turned away, do not despair. That hour, my friend, is not your end. It is your proving ground. The moment when infinite intelligence weighs your soul to decide if you are worthy to receive what you dared to desire. Mark this well. No man ever wears the crown of success without first passing through the fire of suffering without flinching. I speak from knowing. Every man I have studied, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Lincoln, Rockefeller, stood on the brink of total collapse before being lifted higher. Each was burdened with a weight so heavy, so dark, so seemingly unbearable that every sign pointed to defeat. Yet they stood firm. They did not tremble. They did not plead. They did not curse the heavens. They grew silent. They became resolute. They grew calm. And in that calm, while the world watched them sink, their power was born. For calmness in the storm is not natural. It is spiritual. It is not passivity. It is power. The sign of the man who will be trusted with great things. So if you hear me now, trapped in the furnace, do not cry out in panic. Be still. Gather yourself. The trial you face is not designed to destroy you. It is meant to reveal you. God tests every man before giving, and he gives only to those who remain calm when everything else falls apart. This moment of collapse is your invitation to power, and I am here to teach you how to meet it. Like a man who refuses to drift, refuses to beg, refuses to fall apart as the world crumbles around him. I am here to teach you the laws, the steps, the commands, and the calm that transforms defeat into dominion. Listen carefully now. The test has already begun. Part 1. The test always comes before the treasure. All lasting success is earned, never gifted. The world may hand you temporary advantage through inheritance or luck, but nothing of true value belongs to you until you prove yourself worthy. Infinite intelligence entrusts no man with power until he has endured the discipline of trial. And that trial arrives not when you feel strong, but when your strength is gone. Not when the wind pushes behind you, but when it strikes your face and steals your breath. When your plans collapse, your income dries up, your friends scatter, and your belief flickers like a dying flame. That is when the test begins. That is where the treasure is hidden. What many call failure is no failure at all. It is filtration. Life sifts through the hopeful, the ambitious, the dreamers, separating those who merely wish for success from those willing to pay its full price. The test precedes the treasure because it is what makes a man capable of holding it. You may ask why this law exists. Why must pain come before progress? Why must effort go unrewarded? The answer is simple. Power demands maturity. Riches require wisdom. Success in untrained hands becomes poison. Life asks, are you ready to receive what you desire? Look at the man who brought light to the world, Thomas Edison. Told he had no education, dismissed as a fool. He worked in darkness for years, testing filament after filament. 10,000 failures, they say. Yet he never broke, never panicked, never fell into despair. He stayed calm. That calmness was no weakness. It was power. When asked how he endured so many failures, Edison replied, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. See the mind of mastery there, the spirit of persistence that refuses to call failure what is preparation. That man passed the test before the treasure, and so the treasure obeyed him. Understand this. How you act under pressure is the report card of your belief. If you crumble, you reveal shallow faith. If you complain, your desire was weak. If you drift, your aim was never fixed. But if you remain calm, press forward in silence, you prove yourself fit for success. When the world strikes you down, it is not proof of defeat. It is an invitation to master your inner self, a summons to the part of you that does not flinch, doubt, or bow. The part that has declared war on fear, that part was not forged in comfort. It was made in trial. Do not curse the test, bless it. For the test is a doorway. Every spiritual law has its physical mirror, and in the physical world, gold must be melted before it is shaped. So it is with the soul. Your crisis is the crucible. The fire meant not to consume you, but to burn away what cannot remain. Pride, fear, impatience, weakness, these are scorched, so only gold remains. You may not feel like gold. You may feel broken, anxious, uncertain, but what survives fire is your true self. That is why I give you this affirmation, not for comfort, but for battle. I welcome the trial, for I am made of what survives fire. Speak it when you wake, speak it when you fall. Speak it when the drumbeat of defeat rattles your mind like despair. The man who commands calm commands reality. Nothing can dominate a man who refuses panic. Nothing can defeat a soul who walks by principle, not by circumstance. Do you now see why calmness is the mark of greatness? Because it is the posture of power, the trait of kings, the signature of men unmoved by appearances. Let me be clear. The world is not against you. It is simply waiting to see who you are under pressure. Your family may doubt you. Your funds may run dry. Your friends may leave. Your body may ache. But none of these are your enemy. Your only enemy is fear, and fear feeds on your reaction. Starve it. Deny it attention. Let fear starve while you continue. Adopt the demeanor of a general, not one who shouts in fury, but one who commands presence. In war's heat, the true leader grows quieter, more focused, more composed, knowing emotion clouds judgment, but calmness sharpens it. Be that general of your own mind. Success is not found in frantic effort, but in steady obedience to a definite plan, held with calm and pursued with persistence. You will not build your fortune by rushing or reacting to every storm. You build it by holding your definite purpose, like a lighthouse holds its beam, steady, silent, unshaken. And when the treasure delays, when the doors you knock on remain closed, remember, silence is not rejection. It is redirection. Delay is not denial. It is design. The test continues. Hold your posture. Hold your ground. Hold your calm. The man who wins is not the one who never trembled, but the one who learned to discipline his trembling. The one who declared, I will remain, no matter what comes. The winds of failure may blow. The rains of doubt may slip, but his feet stand firm. His voice is calm. His gaze fixed. And success must bow before a man like that. So I ask you now, will you endure this fire? Will you welcome it as a friend? Will you pass the test and claim the treasure? Or will you shrink back, curse the hardship, and demand what you have not earned? Only you can answer. But remember, calmness amid collapse is how infinite intelligence recognizes its champions. Not by comfort, not by words, but by unshakable spirit under trial. This is your trial. Now, let us move to the next law. Part 2, definite chief aim, is the anchor in any storm. He who drifts drowns, but the man who holds fast to a definite chief aim stands tall in any storm. I have never known a man of greatness who did not first write his purpose in blood upon the walls of his mind. When all else is taken away, your wealth, your praise, your comforts, your only safeguard is your definite purpose. You will find that the man who suffers most in chaos is not the one who lost money or favor. It is the one who never knew what he was building. The drifter, the vague dreamer, the uncertain soul, they fall first when the ground shakes. But the man of purpose cannot be destroyed. His losses are temporary. His direction remains. A man without a chief aim is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave, turned by every wind, led by others' whims rather than his own will. But a man with a written aim knows where he is going. No storm, betrayal, or reversal can make him forget it. He does not guess. He acts. Remember Henry Ford, a man of unwavering direction. His dream was clear, not prestige or applause, but to build a motor car so reliable and affordable any working man could own it. They mocked him, called it impossible. He did not respond. He built it. When markets collapsed, competitors grew vicious, and men doubted his mind. He held fast to his chief aim. He did not let failure or criticism shake him. He gripped his purpose like a sailor holds a mast in violent seas, and the storm passed. The car was built. The name Ford became eternal. Now I ask you, what is your chief aim? Do not say to be rich. That is not an aim. Do not say to be successful. That is vague. You must define it, specify it, refine it, put it into words that burn with fire. When you have it, write it, frame it, mount it where you see it every day. Declare it to yourself twice daily, once upon rising, once before sleeping. A written purpose read daily becomes a mental anchor. It seizes wandering attention, disciplines thought, and reins in emotions like a rider controls a horse. In crisis, when all seems lost, that purpose will speak louder than fear. It will whisper, this is the path, stay the course. That voice is not imaginary. It is the voice of power. Some will laugh when you declare a chief aim. Let them laugh. They mock not you, but what they cannot understand. A man without purpose must mock the man with purpose, or admit his own poverty. Your duty is not to explain your aim, but to obey it. Let your results speak. A man with definite purpose moves differently. His words are measured, his time sacred. He is not swayed by gossip or fear. His calmness is rooted in direction. He knows his mission, and he executes it with silence, fire, and faith. I say again, purpose does not perish under pressure. Purpose rises. If your aim is real, if you write it, believe it, speak it daily, it will not collapse. When the world does, it will not wither or tremble. In trial, it grows. because definite purpose is spiritual law. In motion, you do not need others' approval. You need self-obedience. Your success will not be handed to you. It will grow through daily loyalty to your chief aim. Some days you will feel no progress. When nothing moves, that is when you must move yourself. Return to your purpose. Read it, act again. The law is simple. Energy flows where purpose is definite. Attention strengthens where desire is organized. Results appear not by begging, but by persistence and unwavering direction. It is not the dreamer who wears the crown, but the one who aligns every thought, word, and deed behind one burning aim. Now I command you, not suggest. Write your chief aim. Make it clear, personal, complete. Include the object of your desire, the time you will claim it, the plan to acquire it, and the service you will give in return. Leave no room for vagueness. Vague desire yields vague results. Write your aim clearly. Read it aloud when you wake. Read it before you sleep. Read it when you feel strong. Read it louder when you feel afraid. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are programming your subconscious, which obeys repetition, not emotion. Make this affirmation yours. My chief aim is stronger than my crisis. My mind is fixed on my mission. I am not distracted. I am not delayed. I am not denied. These are not mere words. They are spiritual tools. Speak them with fire. Repeat them until they become the law of your thinking. Remember, calmness is not passive. It is the visible expression of a mind that knows its purpose. When men do not know what they are building, they panic at the thunder. But when a man builds by design, storms may shake the house, but not the builder. Voices will try to distract you. Old habits, disappointments, comparisons, fear of criticism. Silence them with your aim. Each time you feel like drifting, return to your declaration. Each time you want to shrink, read your aim again. Repetition rewires. Repetition reforms. In time, you will become one with your aim. It will live in your gestures, words, and thoughts. It will push you forward. When weary, it corrects your course. When you falter, it replaces emotion with direction. When the world falls apart, you will not fall with it, because your mind is fixed and your eyes are clear. This is not theory. It is law. This is the law that lifted Ford, the law that carried Edison, the law that sustained Carnegie. Each held to one thing, a definite chief aim. Because they held it, they held everything else that followed. Do likewise. If you are in a storm, this is your anchor. If in confusion, this is your compass. If in despair, this is your weapon. Use it, speak it, obey it. You will not drift. You will endure, and in enduring, you will rise. Let us move to part 3. Faith is mastery over conditions. Faith is not belief in what you see. It is belief that remains when nothing is seen. The true test of belief is not when prayers are answered, but when heaven is silent. If you believe only when conditions favor you, you have convenience, not faith. Convenience never lifted a man to greatness. Let me be clear. Faith is not emotion. It is a state of mind. It is built, not born. Forged through repetition, not reaction. It is the inward certainty that infinite intelligence moves in harmony with your definiteness of thought and persistence of action, even when nothing confirms it. The man who wins believes before evidence and continues after evidence is gone. His calmness is dominion. His silence is strength held in reserve. He does not collapse when the tide recedes. He does not doubt when the wind turns against him. He walks forward with decision, knowing conditions are servants, not masters. Look to Abraham Lincoln, defeated repeatedly, ridiculed, doubted, counted out, yet he did not bow to circumstances. He did not say, the people don't believe in me. He said, I must believe first, and belief will make a way. In time, he held the highest seat in the land, not given, but believed into being. Do you think you alone suffer setbacks? Are you the only one misunderstood, mocked, rejected? That is the proving ground of every man of faith. Faith is not built in sunlight. It is built in fog, not forged in applause, but in absence of recognition. Those who master faith master the world. Believe when your bank account is empty, when your name is forgotten, when your friends doubt you. That is real faith. That is not foolishness. It is spiritual precision. You no longer take instructions from circumstances, but from vision, purpose, and definiteness. Faith is not passive. It is the most active force in the mind. It moves the subconscious. It influences the mastermind. It draws the people, circumstances, and events needed to fulfill your aim. But faith must be planted, watered, and spoken daily, or it dies. No man can afford a day without speaking his faith aloud. That is why I gave you the self-confidence formula. Declarations spoken morning and night until belief becomes command. These are not affirmations for comfort. They are affirmations for conquest. Speak them whether feelings agree or not, because the subconscious obeys tone, repetition, and definiteness, not emotion. Say this: I believe in myself. I believe in my vision. I believe infinite intelligence watches over all who persist with purpose. I believe obstacles are opportunities in disguise. I believe I was made to triumph, not to drift. Speak these words not as poetry, but as decree with power. Each time you speak faith into your system, you install a new pattern. When spoken consistently, that pattern becomes permanent. The subconscious accepts it as law. The moment it is law, your body, mind, and environment align with it. This is not imagination. It is law. Your faith is your governor. It sets the limits of your achievement. A man who believes he is cursed by fate, others, or limitation will never see the open door. But the man who believes infinite intelligence rewards persistence, obedience, and definiteness sees where others stumble. He walks where others quit. Remember this line: infinite intelligence is not ignoring my prayers, it is testing my faith. If you understand this, you will no longer panic in silence. You will not complain during delay. You will see what seems rejection is often refinement, and refinement always precedes reward. The calm man speaks faith until faith speaks through him. He does not borrow energy from feelings, but draws it from conviction. His friends may waver, income may shrink, support may vanish, but he remains. He believes because he knows the law. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now listen carefully. The most dangerous time is not the beginning when energy is high, nor the middle when tested. It is when closest to breakthrough, but farthest from reward. That is when most quit. That is when most drift because they see no results and stop believing. You must refuse that weakness. Move forward, eyes fixed on the vision, speaking belief into the air. Do not let environment dictate your expression. Do not let senses drown your spirit. The man who rules conditions refuses to be ruled by them. Let this be your affirmation. I do not depend on the evidence of sight. I walk by the evidence of belief. I command my mind. I speak my faith. I expect my reward. Say it when empty. Say it when delayed. Say it when all seems lost, and say it again. Each time you speak it, you prove your dominion. You are not made to be blown by the wind. You are made to command your thoughts. Those thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become actions. Actions become results. This is the chain of creation, beginning with faith. Faith before sight. Faith before ease. Faith before applause. There is no nobility in hopelessness, no virtue in collapse, no glory in spiritual drift. That is not strength. That is surrender. You are not made to surrender. You are made to command. Your command begins with deciding to believe when all says you are foolish. The world rewards not the man who waits for proof. It rewards the man who believes so deeply, so unshakably, proof must appear. That is the faith I am building in you. That is the faith unbroken by delay. That is the faith that moves mountains, not by shouting but marching. So I ask you, have you spoken your belief today? Have you reminded your mind who is in command? Have you taken back your authority from circumstance, fear, drift? If not, begin now. Begin with this: I am the one who believes when all doubt. I am the one who commands his mind. I am the one who is being prepared. Let the winds blow. Let evidence vanish. Let night grow long. You are not dependent on any of it. You depend only on your decision. And you have decided to believe. Because you believe, you will receive. Let us move forward. Part 4, the power of stillness. In the hour of collapse, the man who panics proves he has no power. The man who shouts at hardship, fights his trial, complains of his condition, shows he is mastered by circumstance, not master of self. Panic is the language of drift. Calmness in collapse is the unmistakable mark of spiritual strength. Understand, stillness is not absence of motion. It is presence of mastery. A weak man must keep moving to feel alive. A powerful man moves only with precision. He is not rushed by emotion, not stirred by gossip, not enslaved by fear. He remains, he stands, he commands. There is power in stillness that confuses enemies, silences critics, and summons infinite intelligence in your favor. Why? Because stillness signals trust in the law, trust in the process. You do not need to see all at once. You do not need to explain. You do not need to beg. You remain composed. Think of the general at the battlefield's edge. Cannon fire sounds, dust rises.
Urgent reports come, but he does not leap from his chair. He shows no fear. He calculates, studies, commands. Because he is still, his men remain strong. Because he is calm, chaos cannot conquer. This is not imagination, it is historical truth. Consider Charles Schwab, the steel magnate who saw markets crumble and confidence fade. While others ran to newspapers or politicians, Schwab stayed still. He gathered his men, made decisions, rebuilt what others abandoned. That stillness birthed recovery. The storm exposes the anxious but honors the calm, not because the calm avoids the storm, but because he walks through it without bending. His posture proves trust is not in weather, but principle, not in chance, but law, not in appearance, but authority. Never forget, your emotions must not mirror your conditions. Your inner stillness must master outer chaos. You are not designed to react, but to reflect. The world screams, you listen inward. The world shakes, you stand rooted. The world runs,
You move only when time is right. Let this be your daily affirmation. I am calm, for I am led. I am still, for I trust the process. I do not shake, I stand. Say it until it becomes your spiritual armor. Say it until your heartbeat matches your vision, not your fears. Say it until your presence carries leadership's energy. You will not survive the storm by resisting violently. You endure it by planting your soul so deeply in faith and purpose that nothing external moves you. That is walking by purpose. That is governing the mind. That is exercising the power of silence. Sometimes stillness feels like inaction. You will be tempted to speak quickly, move impulsively, retaliate blindly. But remember, the devil attacks through urgency. Drift disguises itself as necessity. You must delay impulse and wait until your inner law confirms your next move. The man of purpose speaks less, builds more. He needs no applause to stay motivated. He needs no recognition to stay loyal. His mind is not fed by noise. It sharpens in stillness. This man is rare, but where he appears, order returns, strength flows, progress resumes. You may say, if I am still, I will be left behind. Not so. The world honors deliberate, not frantic movement. A man still in collapse is trusted in restoration. A man calm in loss is trusted in leadership. Stillness is not stagnation. It is precision, intention, strength under spiritual control. When the world loses structure, do not follow, become the structure. When plans fall, do not fall, become the plan. When support disappears, do not plead, become your foundation. That is the power of stillness. That is what separates commander from coward. Stillness in crisis is not coldness. It is confidence. It is quiet certainty that infinite intelligence works through your patience. Your silence is not empty. It is loaded with power. That your decision to remain composed is not denial. It is dominion. Fix this image in your mind. Let the storm rage. I remain unmoved. Say it aloud. Speak it. When your fears knock, speak it. When your doubts shout, speak it until your subconscious accepts it as law. For the man who remains unmoved is the man who cannot be defeated. You are not weak for resting in stillness. You are strong for refusing to react. You are not behind for being quiet. You are ahead for being wise. You are not losing time. You are investing energy. That is what the wise do. That is what the powerful understand. That is what the great men I studied all practiced. Do you know what Edison did when his factory burned to the ground? He stood silent, watching the flames. Someone asked, "Aren't you devastated?" He said, "No, I'll rebuild it better." No panic, no anger, just presence, just stillness. The posture of a man who knew power could not be burned by fire. Study the men who rose from ashes. You will find a common thread. They did not weep louder than they believed. They did not shake louder than they planned. They did not react. They responded. And response is the fruit of stillness. It emerges when a man trains himself to wait before acting. Now listen carefully. The devil cannot possess a still mind. The drifter is easy prey, for he moves without direction. But the man of stillness cannot be deceived. He does not move until he knows. He does not speak until he means. He does not act until he is certain. So the devil passes over him. He is untouchable. You must build that level of mental control, that emotional authority, that spiritual command, not once, not occasionally, but daily through discipline, repetition, silence, until stillness becomes your natural state, until calmness becomes your identity. When the fire comes, and it will, you will not tremble, you will watch. When others run, you walk forward. When others scream, you speak purpose. When others fall, you stand. That is the power of stillness. That is your inheritance. Take it. Let us continue. Part 5. Autosuggestion is your shield against mental collapse. There is a voice inside you that speaks louder than all enemies, failures, and trials. That voice is your own. When the world falls apart, when silence surrounds you, when conditions contradict your vision, that is when your voice must rise. That is when autosuggestion becomes your shield. Autosuggestion is no game. It is not theory. It is not comfort. It is law. A law more precise and powerful than gravity. The law by which a man programs his subconscious to believe what he commands, and what the subconscious believes, it creates. This is no hopeful idea. It is a working fact of mental chemistry. You cannot always control what others say, but you can control what you say to yourself and what you say repeatedly. Morning and night, in trial and triumph, it becomes your internal government, the root of your identity. Your identity is the soil from which success grows. When crisis strikes, most men fall, not from the blow, but because they let fear take the microphone inside their mind. They speak failure, doubt. They say, "I am ruined," or "I don't know what to do," or "it's hopeless." They don't realize their words plant seeds of destruction. But the man of autosuggestion understands. He does not wait for motivation. He does not wait for good news. He speaks his truth into existence. He takes the affirmation. He has chosen his definite chief aim. He has written the self-confidence formula. He has memorized it. He speaks it aloud with power, whether he feels it or not.
Let me be clear. The voice you believe in your darkest hour writes your destiny. Believe fear, you live in fear. Believe defeat, you embody defeat. But declare your purpose. Repeat your affirmation. Hold to your inner command. Even while the world burns and you will rise. Recall Andrew Carnegie's wisdom, who trained men to declare success before experiencing it. He instructed them to speak wealth, composure, faith, even when their bank accounts and surroundings said otherwise. Those who obeyed became millionaires, not by chance but design. You are no different. You may say, but I don't feel powerful. I say feelings are not the measure. Repetition is. You may say, but I don't believe it yet. I say you're not required to believe fully today. You must speak it until belief forms. That is how every great man was made. Now take this affirmation and etch it into your morning, your night, your hardship, and your routine. Every hour I speak power. Every thought I sow becomes the strength I reap. I do not collapse, I command. I do not beg, I believe. I speak my chief aim aloud until it moves the world. Do not speak casually. Speak with intensity. Speak with decision. Do not mumble these words. Declare them. Stand tall as you say them. Breathe deeply. Let your tone carry weight. Your subconscious does not respond to weak suggestion. It responds to emotionalized repetition. I have said it before and say it again. The subconscious cannot distinguish reality from command. It only knows what is repeated with belief. Once it accepts a statement as true, it works day and night, awake and asleep, to bring that truth into being. Therefore, never speak what you do not want. Never say I can't unless you want inability. Never say it's too late unless you want to curse your opportunity. Never say I'm tired unless you invite exhaustion. Instead say, I am prepared. I am guided. I am unshakable. I am rising. Even in confusion, speak clarity. Even in delay, speak urgency. Even in weakness, speak strength. What you feel is fleeting, but what you declare becomes permanent. Your word is law in the temple of your subconscious. Speak it like a king. Here is structure. Each morning, stand before your written chief aim. Speak it aloud with energy. Declare your self-confidence formula with full tone. Then read the affirmation that governs your mind. Do the same again before sleep. This is not superstition. This is mental engineering. Repeat after me. When everything falls, let not my words fall with it. Let them rise. Let them command. Let them prove to infinite intelligence that I am ready. Say this when fear approaches. Say it when fatigue whispers. Say it when old beliefs try to return. Say it until fear gives up trying. Understand this. Crisis activates every lie you've believed about yourself. Old voices return. Doubts reawaken. Ghosts of past failure knock. But they have no power unless you let them speak louder than your purpose.
Do not give them the microphone. Do not let your mouth betray your destiny. If you saw how closely your subconscious listens to every word, you would never again joke about failure. You would never say, just my luck, or things never go right. You would guard your language as you guard a sacred flame, because that flame creates, and once lit, it cannot be ignored. Men have used this law to build fortunes, recover from ruin, create health, leadership, influence, peace, not because they were chosen, but because they chose what to say to themselves. They chose to repeat power when power felt far away, and so power returned. I warn you, when you stop speaking your affirmation, you begin drifting. Drift enters through silence, forgetfulness, laziness, and drift leads to collapse. But discipline and declaration leads to dominion, and dominion leads to reward. So I command you now, write your affirmations, review your aim, memorize your formula. Never let a day pass without speaking your truth to your soul. If no one else believes you, let them wait, let them scoff. But you must believe and speak as one who knows. When all else fails, speak. When all support disappears, speak. When no opportunity appears, speak. When delay stretches long, speak. Speak because speech is creation. No collapse can overcome a man who uses his voice as a weapon of faith. Let your final affirmation today be, I do not need approval. I do not need signs. I speak truth. I plant faith. I harvest strength. I command my mind because my mind is mine. Part 6. The enemy is drift, not difficulty. Difficulty is not the danger. You were built for difficulty. You were born with the power to overcome. You have within you reason, decision, imagination, willpower. These were not given to decorate life, but to conquer it. Difficulty sharpens these powers. It trains the spirit. It strengthens character. But drift destroys them. The average man spends life fearing hardship when he should fear something far more subtle and deadly. Drift. Drift is a state of mind in which a man lives without purpose, moves without direction, acts without intention. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It steals the soul quietly by degrees until the man who once dreamed is lost. When life becomes hard, drift offers escape. It whispers, why bother? It says, rest a while. It says, try something else. It says, there is no rush. While it speaks, your vision fades, your strength decays, your inner authority dies. That is the true enemy. It must be named. It must be resisted. It must be conquered. Pain with purpose builds power. Pain without purpose produces paralysis. A man can endure great trials when he knows why he endures. Remove purpose and small tasks become unbearable. That is why a definite chief aim cures drift. No man drifts who holds a fixed star. In his mind, drift means failure is permanent. Difficulty is not failure. Drift is. Drift does not challenge growth. It asks nothing. It rewards weakness. It deadens desire. It kills without violence. It turns kings into beggars, not by battle but boredom. Remember John D. Rockefeller. He faced public hatred, economic sabotage, political assault. Did he drift? No. He expanded. He organized. He outthought his enemies. He never let hardship confuse him about identity. He knew what he built. He moved with cold clarity through the furnace. Decide who you are amid hardship. Drift tells you pain means you're not meant for this path. Truth. Pain is proof you are on sacred ground. Pain without drift is momentum. Pain without drift is transformation. Pain with drift is death to purpose. Let me speak this into you now. The law rewards intention, not movement. Action without aim is drift in disguise. Busyness is not progress. Only action with direction, persistence, and faith bears fruit. Ask yourself, are you acting from purpose or simply moving to avoid stillness? Drift wears many disguises. Entertainment, productivity, self-care, caution. Its mission, keep you from declaring purpose, demanding progress, moving toward it without apology. To fight drift, declare war, hold court with your mind. Issue this command, I am not a drifter. I decide, I act, I persist, I rise. I reject delay. I destroy distraction. I command my life. This is no speech. It is your spiritual oath. Take it daily. Do not say I'm stuck when drifting. Say, what is true? I have allowed drift to enter, but now I shut the door. Return to your chief aim. Return to affirmations. Return to stillness, focus, discipline. This is how you drive out drift. You were not made to drift. You were made to dominate. Domination is not control over others. It is control of yourself, your thoughts, schedule, language, decisions. These are the sacred tools of a man who refuses to drift and demands to rise. Even now, as you hear this, the devil of drift may whisper, you've heard this before, but hear me. Drift is not defeated by knowledge. It is defeated by repetition. Until your resistance becomes automatic, until your actions become obedient to aim, you must continue to repeat these laws daily, faithfully. I have seen men of brilliance fall to drift because they never organized their days around their purpose. I have seen men of wealth collapse into misery because they lost direction. I have seen men of faith grow cold because they no longer decided, and I have seen the opposite. Men of average talent become giants because they never drifted. So I say this to you, every man must declare war, not on life's hardship, but on drifting in the face of it. Difficulty is a gift. It strengthens. It clarifies. It humbles. But drift is a thief. It flatters, then destroys. Do not be deceived. Do not tolerate it. Do not allow it to speak in your mind another day. Let this be your daily affirmation. I know my purpose. I hold my course. I destroy distraction. I obey my plan. I do not drift. I do not wait. I act. I advance. I succeed. Speak it. When your energy fades, speak it. When your thoughts wander, speak it. Until you become the very law that crushes drift beneath your feet. The man who conquers drift cannot be conquered because he is not led by chance or emotion or delay. He is led by purpose, and purpose, once decided, makes every step sacred, even the painful ones. Let this be your resolution. When the next hardship arrives, I will not flee into noise, escape, or confusion. I will face it. I will think. I will plan. I will act. And I will stand in the authority of a man who refuses to be ruled by anything but his vision. This is not motivational. This is strategic. You do not drift into a rich life. You do not drift into fulfillment. You do not drift into greatness. You decide. You act. You repeat. You endure. And you rise. Let us continue. Part 7. Persistence is proof you are worthy. You say you want power. You say you want freedom. You say you want success. Then I ask you one question. Can you persist? When nothing answers, can you continue? When the door is locked, the wind is cold, and the voice within says, why? Try again. That moment when you are tempted to retreat is the moment you are being weighed. God does not hand crowns to the comfortable. He does not grant thrones to the impatient. The riches of life are not given to those who merely desire. They are reserved for those who endure without complaint, act without evidence, and walk without applause. Persistence is not a habit. It is a sign. It is how the universe identifies those worthy of more. Look at Napoleon Bonaparte. Exiled,
Dethroned, betrayed, but never broken. He returned when others would have vanished. He rebuilt when others would have wept. And while history remembers his flaws, it cannot forget his persistence. Persistence is the signature of greatness, written in the blood of pressure, time, and opposition. Persistence is spiritual warfare. It is not comfort, it is conquest. When you persist beyond the logic of man, beyond the timeline of your friends, beyond the deadline of the world, you rise into a new rank. You become one of the few watched by infinite intelligence, marked for increase, and trusted with advancement. The weak man demands signs before continuing. The strong man creates signs by continuing. Every step you take after the world says it's over becomes sacred. Each repetition becomes a spiritual act. Each refusal to quit becomes a decree. Those decrees do not go unnoticed. The universe records them. God hears them. The world bends before them. You say you want to be chosen? Then act like one who has been. Speak faith in silence. Take action in delay. Return to your purpose when your emotions say it's pointless. And let this affirmation live in your mouth. I will not stop. I will not speak defeat. I will persist. I will be rewarded. Persistence is not noise. It is not drama.